welcome back to this two-part episode of pickHERupper. So we ended the last episode with Myrna's story time. It was a really great story, so I loved listening to it. I hope you guys did too. We're going to now transition into our Keep It Real session with Dr. Myrna. Well,
I mean,
right.
I want to do it now. No, I don't. Yeah,
but yeah, I want to keep rolling.
Yeah.
I want to keep it real. So you had mentioned in story time, you had mentioned therapy. Mm-hmm. So I want you to go like a little bit more in depth, because therapy and mental health is something that I'm a huge advocate for. I believe that, you know, we go to a dentist, we go to a doctor, we should all go to a therapist. It's not, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And
yeah.
it's like people have always thought like, oh, it's just for crazy people.
Exactly. A big thing that we say in my community with therapy is you would never tell a diabetic not to take insulin.
Right.
So why would you say that to somebody who has brain chemistry that needs help with medication, with talk therapy, with there's so many different forms of therapeutic mind help that exists right now, and it absolutely is vital for all of us to understand our stories, understand the stories we're telling ourselves, understanding the stories we're repeating over again. And the easiest way, in my opinion, is to find someone you can talk to about it. Yeah. Someone whose authority you trust. And typically, we as a Western society, we find that whoever has a PhD, we trust that. We typically trust that authority.
Like, so, you went to school for like 7 years plus. I think
you know something.
A little bit.
Yeah. So, it's vastly important. Find a form of therapy that works for you, whether it's talking to a licensed therapist, talking to someone with a PhD or an MD of some sort that is willing to give you their time. Also, Talkspace. Like if this
I use Talkspace. That was great.
If this is the way you can communicate with another person and get your thoughts out of your head, please, by all means. Likewise, I was very fortunate. I got health insurance very young in our generation. I was lucky enough that my health insurance covered my therapy.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so if y'all can get unions, I highly recommend.
SAG was like, we need to include this, okay? Therapy needs to be in the insurance.
For actors. The union was like, you need therapy.
Okay.
Finding people whose authority you trust is really what I consider that form of therapy. It's having a sounding board so that you can ask, do I sound crazy right now? And someone can say, no, you're okay. Is this thought healthy for you? Maybe not. Is this habit healthy for you? Maybe yes, maybe no. Can you find ways to control it? And another huge thing is, if you can find a person-to-person therapist, don't give up after one. Please don't give up after one. It's just the same kind of feeling.
After one session or after one?
After one therapist.
Oh, got you.
It's a relationship. It's a weird relationship because you're telling them your secrets and you're giving them your money.
So
it's a weird
You don't think of it.
Definitely
don't think of it as a relationship.
But it is. So if you have a hard time talking to your therapist, go find another one. And if
I need to do that.
And if that one doesn't talk to you, go find another one. I went through like 6 therapists before I found mine and could actually be like, wow, you get me, lady.
And see, that's my thing, is like with Talkspace, like I was talking to, my therapist, and it just kind of felt like she was giving me the same advice a homegirl would give me. I'm like, aren't you supposed to be a doctor? Like, aren't you supposed to be helping me through this? And it just didn't feel like I was getting what I wanted out of it. And then it was my first experience with therapy. So I didn't know how therapy was supposed to go. So I'm like, is this just how therapy is? Oh, maybe therapy's not for me,
And that's the part where it's like, no, it's just that therapist.
Right.
Try another one. And something that you said really, really was like, yes. That a good therapist, a therapist worth their money, will pause you and say, I do not give advice. I help you with the problem you have in front of you.
Yeah.
I help you talk if you're having a hard time giving language to something.
Right.
I hold space for you so that if you need to cry, you need to scream, you need to punch something, that there is a space that is judgment-free for you to do that.
Yeah.
The advice you come up with. Yeah. And that's hard. That takes a long time with a good therapist to get comfortable to be like, maybe I am going to just be a yoga instructor. Maybe I'm just going to throw it all in and say, yeah. And a good therapist will say, you finally come to that realization.
Yeah.
Go do it. So, find a way to speak to someone with authority.
Yeah. Definitely. I feel that. I felt, it did. Because, like, I stopped therapy, like, last November or so. And I probably could have used it in March when, like, my world got flipped upside down. But I did a lot of, like, self-healing, self-work. And it's not like I was doing things on my own. I was, looking to other people for help and things like that. But therapy would have been very useful.
The therapeutic process, again, it's a relationship with your therapist and it's a relationship with yourself. So the therapeutic process is also self-healing. Yeah. My therapist tells me, you need to read this book, these pages. Yeah. So she'll give me homework kind of thing. And that's maybe like...
And I'm a student. I need that.
Yeah, I'm a type of person that I need someone to say, here's your assignment.
Right. Because I want to get something. You just talking me through it and making me feel better. Exactly. I feel like, well, I could do that with anyone.
Yeah.
So it's like, why am I paying you?
And the therapeutic process is, write it down, draw it out, find that therapeutic medium to get your ideas out of your head, go back to it, read it, and then maybe go to your mentor, your therapist, your teachers, whoever. Is this crazy? Is this
right?
Weird?
Yeah,
and for them to say, no, this is totally normal. I felt that way too at your age.
I feel like I ask, am I crazy?
Yeah, and the answer
like, am I crazy?
No. Well, it's become our caveat. It's become kind of our like, is this weird? Is this normal? Is this normal? And more times than not, when we actually vocalize what it is that we're feeling, everybody else in the room is like, oh, yeah, that's me too.
Right. Yeah.
So also even like group therapy, if you like communing with others, finding a group that works for you. And there's so many, just like Google it. Just Google it. We have such an ability now to connect with the type of people that we want to be around. Why not just connect? Yeah.
I think definitely, if I try therapy again, I have to do the work, find someone that I can see in person, and then try it out that way. Because I think like for Talkspace, I liked the access where it's like, oh, I can hit you up all the time, but then I didn't like the result. So it was like maybe I just need to try a different form, and it would probably work just a little bit better.
I'm a big believer in like everything's a draft.
Right.
Like this is just first draft. If this first meeting with this person sucked, whatever, I'll go get an ice cream and feel better about myself.
Right.
And go to a new therapist and explain to that therapist, look, I've got some shits here because the last therapist was kind of weird.
Right.
Yeah, and it's okay. Just, find the people you can talk to. Yeah.
I ghosted my last therapist.
That's fine.
I know. I didn't feel bad about it. She was fine.
She'll be fine.
Right.
It's not her job to be worried about you ghosting her.
Right.
And it's not your job.
She was like, well, all right.
Yeah. Excellent.
Good. I was holding that with me. I was like, oh, I ghosted my therapist. I don't ghost people.
They don't care.
Right. No cares.
Yeah. Let's keep it more real, yeah?
Yeah, let's keep it more real. So a lot of the things that you were discussing in yoga, you were discussing about connecting with the body.
Yes.
So can you just kind of dive deeper and elaborate on that with me?
Here's what I learned.
Right.
Here's what I learned. So the body actually does hold physical tension from car accidents, injuries, surgery. It really does. Look at your scar tissue. There's also scar tissue in your muscles when they cut into your muscles. That's got to heal as well.
Yeah.
Where we get a little yoga woo-woo here. your body also holds tension from your emotional state and your mental state.
Yeah.
And I feel this to be true, and there's a lot more studies coming out now that are kind of proving that same idea, that your brain can tense up your body and keep you in tension if your brain is clenched, meaning if you're stressed, if you're creating stories to yourself that create a negative feeling about who you are. Your body holds that. Your body holds driving on the 405 for an hour and a half. It holds that. You get home and you're hunched. So yoga became this beautiful way for me to release tension. And at first, again, it was, I want to look hot in this bathing suit. But then, I started trying different classes, more restorative classes, where I was just laying there and then sobbing because my body finally could open and relax.
Yes. Oh, I need this in my life.
Yes. Everyone does, especially here in LA, especially in our Western culture where we've all been told, get a goal and chase it.
Right.
Chase it as fast and as far as you can. The faster you can get to that goal and the higher up the ladder you can get, the better you'll be.
Right.
I don't believe
and that's what quantifies success.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not.
Yeah.
But personally, I want my body to feel comfortable wherever it lands in success.
Yeah.
Because if you're booking things and you're not happy about it, what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and a lot of people have breakdowns. A lot of people are hospitalized for exhaustion, and our body just tells us chill out. Yeah. Or I know with me, I've always, since I was little, had a problem with slouching and hunching, and it was so noticeable that my mom, asked the doctor about it, what's going on here?
She has
what's going on? And it just as I grew older and grew a little bit more confident in myself, I think I became more aware of it. So I try to sit up, but my natural state is to slouch. And I'm still the insecure third grader that I was.
Oh, God, me too.
But then, I try to put on a brave face and be pretty Jazzmyne. And
very adult.
Exactly. She knows things.
Yeah, and that's the thing. She does. She does.
She does know things.
She does know things. And the body knows things. Yeah. And when I was able to separate that, I don't just think, therefore I am, but that I am and I'm allowed to think. Right. And then I can separate my body from my mind and then bring them together. Once I could figure out what that meant to me, it became easier to sit up straight. Yeah. But it is that practice of, okay, how do I work my core? And how do I elongate? And it does start there so that you can become more sensitive to, this chair, if I move this way, it doesn't feel so good. But if I sit this way, this feels really good, And it's just becoming more sensitive to yourself in space so that you can start figuring out your emotional triggers. Yeah. And, trigger warning, everybody gets kind of prickly around the word triggers, but really we are in constant barrage of stimuli. Yeah. We can't escape it. It's just we hold computers in our pockets now. Yeah. We are stimulated all the time, visually, physically, with traffic. Traffic I keep coming back to because I'm always driving and I'm like, in LA it's the worst. Yeah, someone cuts you off. You miss your exit. Do not care about your life. Literally, they will almost run you off the road to be one car ahead of you. Yeah. And that, how do you let that happen and go, doesn't affect me. I'm in this car, I hit the brakes, and it's all good. Yeah. And that's definitely takes trigger. Yeah. I was going to say emotional maturity, because for me, I have to sometimes separate, it would feel so good
to do something, you know what I'm saying, to get you back for what you did. You know, like if you catch up with them in traffic, like throwing something at their car, or, you know, like it would feel so good. Yeah. But then you have to think about yourself, and you have to think about this person doesn't even care.
Yeah.
They were doing whatever they were doing. They felt, you know, gratified in whatever they did, and you're mad and you're holding on to it, and it's messing up your day.
Exactly.
And so it's like I had to make a conscious. This literally just happened like last Thursday. That's why I'm like but it's like I had to make the conscious decision to go home, to not. And another thing that I do is I will text my girlfriends, and we'll all go off about it. We'll all be mad together about it, you know?
We'll be in the hate.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be
together.
Yeah, exactly. And it feels good, and we're stewing in it.
Yeah.
But I was like, nope, I'm not going to tell my girlfriends, because I don't want them to hype it up and then I'm re-mad all over again.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell my boyfriend. I'm not going to tell anyone about it. I'm just going to let it go and choose to like be happy and choose to not let it affect you.
Yeah, and sometimes that's I want to break this down, because like this is like the power of your mind and how beautiful it has already been cultivated too. Mm-hmm. For me, like being my mom used to always say, just let it go, Myrna, just let it go.
Oh, that's so easy to say.
I don't know how.
Right. Yeah.
So I like breaking it down, because in order to gain that mental maturity, I had to find out that guy who cuts me off, or girl, that person who cuts me off is always going to piss me off.
Right.
And as soon as I can pinpoint the or the knot in the pit of my stomach that makes me want to reach for that old coffee and throw it out the window, I had to figure out where it was first in my body, so that I could say, okay, that knot's coming up. That guy or girl, that person is never gonna see or hear, never gonna feel the coffee spraying on their face. It's never gonna happen.
Which is what it's like, I can only hit the car, but I want this to hit you in the face.
Exactly. So can I, instead of from that pit of my stomach, grab the coffee, punch a window, instead of doing that, can I say, I hear you, pit of the belly. I hear you. And then I just breathe it out. Mm-hmm. That became the practice of learning to let go for me.
Right.
So, yeah, like it's so great. But some of us, the thinking will do just that. And if you don't have a community of girlfriends that you can kind of stir that pot with, and then somebody could be like, but you're good, right?
Right,
you're okay.
exactly.
Like,
that's the end result of all of it. Like, we'll all be mad, and then we'll be like,
because we just want to be seen, heard, and understood.
Right.
Yeah. And so you go back to your community, which is just so smart and so real and so perfect.
Yeah.
Some of us in our cars alone feel isolated. I didn't and kind of really don't still have the big community that I always want to go to and be like, Mom, why did they hurt me? So you have to learn it in your body so that I, at the very least, I could be okay with, okay, I'm pissed off. Where do I feel that?
Right.
And how can I learn to let it go? Or how can I bring practices into my life that will help me let it go, either physically in asana class, so the physical practice of yoga, dance class. I'm all about it. Anytime you're like, I'm going to dance class, I'm like, I'm there. And just dancing is like ideal, because you can just kind of just feel yourself. Yeah. Going into sensory deprivation tanks.
Ooh, I'm afraid of the dark, so I'm kind of scared of that.
Some have lights.
Oh, okay.
They have like little blue lights or little orange lights.
Okay.
And you can just float in like saltwater baths. It's a little pricey sometimes, but you know, treat yourself at least once a month.
Treat yourself.
Yeah, to enjoy the selfness, the oneness, the just me. Where do I hurt in the body? Yeah. Where can I let that go in the body? And then it becomes a metaphor for the mind.
Sweet. So I love that, because I love knowing about my body. I love knowing, and especially, like, I think people don't understand how we internalize stress within our bodies.
Exactly.
And what things we should pay attention to. And I'm just learning about that. And that's why it's, like, so important, because it's, like, anything that's going on with my body is just like, man, what's going on? But I don't feel stress. I think I'm okay. Why is my body reacting like this? And it's like, you can think you're good But your body will tell the
It
truth.
will tell the truth, absolutely.
You know, so, yeah.
And then the relationship with your body just becomes a little bit deeper, and it's less about, you know, why does it look this way?
Yeah, the surface, the vanity. Yeah, it's not about that.
And if you go deeper, then, you know, people who I thought were some of the most beautiful women, they were breaking down and crying in our yoga teacher training practices as much as I was, because they couldn't feel something in their body, or they could feel something in their body. And it just, you know, it gave that sense of compassion for your body a lot space to grow. And I think that's important for us.
Yeah. We're not nice to ourselves.
We're not.
Definitely not nice to our bodies, you know?
Yeah. And I always try to, as best practices, tell myself and tell others, you would never say that about a 5-year-old's thigh gap.
Yeah. Oh, not a 5-year-old's thigh gap.
You would never say that about a 4 or 5-year-old's shoulder blades.
Yeah.
Or you wouldn't say that about a dimple here or a chub there in a 5-year-old. So
hopefully you wouldn't say that.
You don't. Well, you know, if you want the 5-year-old to be happy.
Right, exactly. If you love the 5-year-old.
So love yourself like you love a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, your 2-year-old. Yeah. Your nephew. Treat your body like you treat your nephew's body. Yeah.
Right. Definitely. If not better, because, oh my gosh, he's just the beast.
Right? Yeah, so every time you look at yourself and you go, ugh, think of your nephew and go, no, I wouldn't say that to him.
Right.
So why am I saying it to me?
Yeah, definitely.
And then just take a breath.
And breathe.
Which kind of like takes me to my next step in the journey, which is I'm gonna sell this book here, which is Deep Listening by Jillian Pransky, and the curriculum that my mentor Lainey Divina developed out of this deep listening research and practice and understanding that Jillian Pransky put together through the book. Deep listening is meditation.
Yeah.
It's taking time to listen to yourself. And essentially, it's a funny story, I was like racking my brain to explain what is meditation, and it wasn't until I sat down and meditated that opened my eyes. Meditation is deep concentration on the self.
Yeah.
Oh, it's deep concentration on just this, here and now. And that's what Jillian is really imparting on everyone who takes her courses, who reads her book, who follows her on social media, and likewise with Lainey. Lainey's life totally changed by practicing deep listening. And
I feel like we're told to meditate, and we don't know how to.
Yeah. Okay.
Everyone's like, meditate. You should meditate. It's like, and not even I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah. No, let me tell you here. 10 years of asana practice, I didn't start meditating wholeheartedly until I took up this book and took up this curriculum, which was less than a year ago. Well, like, I'll be honest there, that it is a practice and it is hard at first.
Right.
But what's really great about Lainey's curriculum and the book is that it gives you guided meditations, which I think is a beautiful way to start.
Yeah.
And another really cool thing, tips and tricks later, Insight Timer or guided meditations apps are really great to just start, plug in, sit down in a comfortable spot. Lay down in a comfortable spot. Take 15 minutes to just listen to somebody else guide you to breathe. Like that
already sounds peaceful.
Right?
I'm not like that. I want to do that. It sounds relaxing. Just talking.
And that's kind of like the big thing that Jillian and my mentor Lainey often talk about is if you want to cultivate the idea of well-being, you have to know what well-being is, and you have to find it in your body first. So the ability to stay content is well-being. And to be able to feel grounded, because the minute you don't feel grounded, meaning the minute you don't know where your feet are, the minute you start feeling the velociraptor or a bear, or, the anxieties, the feelings of I gotta get up and go because I'm gonna run or pee myself.
Or I almost feel like like sometimes spending that time with myself, like I'm wasting my time. Yeah, I'm like, and then my time could be better spent doing other things. Or, you know, I sit there for 5 minutes and I'm like, okay, I'm meditating, nothing's happening. All right, I'm over it. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
and that's, again, it's a practice. The same way that you would tell an athlete to, you know, 3-pointers, shoot 3-pointers. At first, they're not going to be really good at it, especially if, you know, they've never bounced a basketball before in their life. They're not really going to be good at it, but by the 10,000 point shot, maybe it could be pretty good.
Hopefully.
So yeah, hopefully.
Making that many shots, I'm really hoping you do good at it.
And so deep listening is this idea that not just hopefully, but you tangibly make it a practice for yourself by finding your core values, identifying them.
Yes.
Lainey is my angel because she's like, you have to write it out. And I'm like, I don't like writing. It takes too much time. And she's like, no, you have to write it out so that you can come back to it and look at it. These are the things that help me come back to my body, that help me feel content.
Yeah.
And they can be external things at first.
Right.
My chocolate ice cream. And then they start coming, okay, it's my breathing. It's my special spot where I go and meditate. That's what makes me feel content.
Yeah.
But at first, it does have to start by being discerning, like figuring out with the book, with curriculum, with your guides of some sort to say, these are the things that make me feel well. Yeah. And I'm going to keep practicing that. So that's really like the first step of deep listening is listening to yourself. What makes me feel content? And then we start cultivating relaxation really by figuring out where tension lies. Yeah. So coming back to the body again, tension.
Because it's such a big, it's like a really big part of knowing who you are is connecting with your body.
Yeah, and like you've said, find the things you don't like. Right. That's where your tension lies. Yeah. And speak to it. Why don't you like, Myrna, why don't you like getting gas even though you know that it's, if you get gas tonight, you don't have to wake up at 5:45 a.m. to get gas before you go and teach another class. Like, why do you wait until the morning to because then, because I don't like it because it's late at night and I don't want to, I'm tired. And, okay, well, that's something to pay attention to, you know, like where's the tension lying in the body? And it can come from, again, the physical aspects of I had surgery. I, am living with this disease, a lifelong illness. It can be things like that. And it can also be kids in the 3rd grade were mean to me. It can be that. It also, we closed in because they hurt our hearts.
I just now noticed I was slouching. I was like, let me sit up.
Again, it's the practice. It's finding that, I was slouching again. Okay, let me,
readjust myself.
And then tension also comes from our daily lives, fighting with a loved one. And the more you love them, the more you fight, right? Because you feel open enough, you feel comfortable enough, so you let...
If you didn't care, you wouldn't give it your energy.
Exactly.
Not saying if you don't fight, then you don't love them.
No,
like,
exactly.
Definitely not saying that.
No, exactly. But it's, again, knowing your triggers, knowing where the energy's coming from, so that I'm tense. I had a gnarly fight with my boyfriend the other day. And I say fight, but it was like just an argument. Right. It took me like a lot of energy to... I'm really upset at you right now, and I don't want to yell because my go-to is to yell at you, and I know that hurts, so I'm just going to walk away right now. And that's hard to say, like, I'm mad at you, and we can't fight because I know it's going to hurt. Right. So, like noticing your tension, and I hope one day I'll be able to just look at him and be like, no, I'm not upset about that at all.
Oh, gosh.
One day. It's the practice.
Yeah.
And so the bullet points from Lainey Davina, these are things that I'm quoting specifically from her. Tension is a way we store what we don't want to feel. It's a natural habit. When I don't want to feel the lump in my throat, I clench my jaw. To create tension elsewhere. Tension is a way to shield ourselves from what we don't want to take in. I see a homeless guy every Sunday. He's so kind. I finally have been bringing him things to eat, but every time somebody walks by, can you help me? We don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, our body is hearing it.
Right. Ooh,
and we're,
wow.
I see even me at first, before I took the minute to say, what do you need?
Yeah.
How can I help you? It was, oh God, that's so uncomfortable. I hope I'm never that way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's holding tension because I don't want to feel what he's feeling.
Right.
And I don't want to think about what could it be like if I was in that situation.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, hopefully I never have to worry about that.
Yeah. And likewise, in someone's situation like that, tension arises from when we feel threatened.
Yeah.
And when our real world life and the logistics to our real world are unstable.
Right.
Then we're going to tense up. We're going to harden. We're going to try to find a way to stay strong.
Yeah.
I
just think about, like, every time I get a massage, everyone talks about the tension in my shoulder. So I'm like, that's definitely, and when we threaten, or when we feel threatened, we like harden ourselves and whenever
my dad yells a specific Spanish syllable because we're not listening to him, I feel all three of us go. And it's okay. We feel threatened.
Yeah.
And it's nothing. It's nothing. It's just
right.
him being like, "Don't leave the door open." And we're like, it's just the way we feel. The way we feel.
Yeah.
There's a spider on your shoulder. We tense.
Yeah. Freaking out.
Yeah. So we figure out what tension is.
Right.
So that we can release it.
Yeah. How do we get rid of the tension? That's the key. That's what I'm waiting for. Right.
Yeah. So they're all keys. You got to know your
You
core
have to know this
values.
part.
Yeah.
To get to the remedy.
Stepping stones. Yeah.
Because if you skip over all of that and you just want to skip to the get rid of the tension, you're getting rid of the tension part, it'll just keep coming back.
Yeah. We call that in the yoga world bypass, an emotional bypass. So what we're doing is we're saying, that's fine. I feel that. No, it's fine.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. I can take that double serving shift. That's fine.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have to go to the audition in 2 hours, and you just told me today for the first time right now. I'll be there. And it creates more tension.
Yeah.
So to figure out what relaxation is, Lainey being brilliant and Jillian also being brilliant figured out what relaxation is not first.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
It all connects.
Yes, because I'm always just like, we give ourselves shit for being like, oh, I know what I don't like, but it's like that's how you get to the, what you do.
Exactly. Yeah. It might be a little longer of a route, but you know what? Take the scenic route. It's fine.
Right.
Yeah. So the things relaxation is not is stepping away from our lives. Mm-hmm. Take a vacation.
Right.
That's my favorite one.
Come out here to relax.
Exactly. Yeah. Which the relaxation components can be found in a vacation.
Right.
In an escape of some sort to leave your normal life. However, in order to come back to our normal life and not feel like, how do I get all this laundry? I need a vacation from my vacation.
Right.
Without feeling that.
Yeah. People come back from vacation and still need another day of vacation.
Oh, yeah.
After the vacation. So, get back to normal life.
And so that, be discerning again, be inquisitive with yourself. Why do I need a week vacation after a 3-week vacation? Was I relaxing?
Yeah.
Or was I sitting on a couch watching TV all day?
Yeah.
Was I eating until I went into coma? Was I drinking until I went into coma? Was I'm going to poke a little fun at her just because she did as well. Lainey did as well. Am I smoking a joint? And I'm like, not really real joints anymore, Mama. But if you, what do you do in those moments where you can be taking relaxation that really shut you off? Are you on Instagram?
Right.
Are you, that's my big one. I can spend hours just escaping on, look at her butt.
Who can? There's so much on Instagram. So much.
But it's not real relaxation because
it's too
you're still, you're still using your mind, you're still using your brain, you're still using the muscles in your head.
Right.
which creates tension.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all of that, all of escaping, trying to watch TV or be on social media for hours and hours on time, binge, sipping a glass of wine or smoking a joint or partaking in any sort of numbing of the physical body.
Oh, yeah.
That is to escape.
Right.
There's a place and a time for it. There definitely is. If you want to celebrate and you're done, escape. By all means, escape for a couple of hours. And then come to a relaxation process, which to me, what I really learned from this book and from my teacher's curriculum is that relaxation is an action verb at first. At first, we work to find the parts that are tense so that we can support them. And then we go into here. So what relaxation is to release tension. First of all, we have to recognize what we need to release tension.
Yeah.
And first and foremost, we need to feel safe.
Right.
So go somewhere that is safe to you. And you need to feel grounded. So figure out what grounded means to you. A lot of times, for me, it's just sitting down on the ground.
Yeah.
And just kind of like, okay, this is the ground. I am grounded. A lot of times it starts there. It's just feeling safe. I'm in my home.
Yeah.
I'm on my special couch. I'm grounded. I have my special blankie over me. It feels fuzzy. I can feel my skin.
Yeah.
And then we need to be present enough to notice where the tension is. So, are you present when you're, oh, look at her. Oh my God, look at little bub. You know, are you present? No, you're present with little bub. So are you present with you? Find ways.
Little bub.
Yeah. I'm so for little bub. Find ways to be present with yourself. For my partner, it's actually walking, going on hikes. That's the way.
Being in nature.
Being in nature.
I think that's how I'm grounded.
Yes. And many of us is because we're earthlings.
Yeah.
You know? We need to be in the earth as well, not just in society. So for many of us, feeling safe, feeling grounded, and feeling present includes finding a space for nature, finding yourself in nature. So all of that to find where the tension is. Jillian Pransky goes through some pretty awesome yoga poses that can help you feel grounded, safe, and present to notice, oh, my hips are so tight.
Yeah, okay.
And it's not about like, do the stretch.
Right.
It's just notice the tension.
Yeah.
And then we need to allow what arises. The first thing I want to do when I notice my tension is go for that deep, 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 deep stretch because I'm doing something.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to do when I notice that tension in my hips is cry about it.
Right.
Because I've been sitting in my car all day, and so now my hips and my low back hurt, and why does it all hurt? But if that's what arises, you gotta give it space. Yeah. The biggest fear.
We definitely suppress crying and tears because we feel like we shouldn't do that.
Yeah, we shouldn't do it. I'll never stop if I start. Is another big one. And I just personally moved through some big trauma in my history. And I always said, like, if I confront that piece of my history, of my past, I will never not be upset about it.
Yeah.
I cried for just a minute and a half. My spiritual
You timed it?
I did. Well, my spiritual coach timed it for me. Okay. She was like, you just cried for a minute and a half. You took your own breath. You gave yourself a hug and nodded. And do you feel that pain anymore? And I was like, no. And cried more because I didn't.
Yeah.
Like, how beautiful to be released of it. So, emotional stuff, physical stuff. I got into a car accident and totaled my car. Did you give yourself time to cry about that?
Right.
Because
or did you just go into fix it mode and I need to do this?
Exactly.
Definitely. That's how I get through things.
Okay, so then that brings us back to our last essential component of releasing tension to find and to exist in relaxation is we need to do this in such a gentle, kind, friendly way that our body and our mind feels like it's okay.
Yeah.
And again, it comes back to, would you tell a 5-year-old that, crashed into another 5-year-old on their big wheels, no, you two ruined it, you don't get your big wheels anymore, go to your room.
Big wheels, throw back.
If you would would tell yourself that at that age, we gotta be a little more gentle because we're just adding more tension.
Yeah.
So, trying to find that gentleness. And again, it's a practice.
Yeah.
It's a practice I sense this. I'm trying to let it go by releasing tension in my body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love
And that's genuinely like following those 4 bullet points, no matter what you do, as long as you are doing it kindly.
Yeah.
Or maybe not doing anything at all. Another favorite is like sitting on a bench and just sitting.
Oh, I love just staring up at the sky or staring up at the stars.
Yes.
Oh, my favorite thing in high school would always be is hanging out on like a trampoline.
My God.
You know, like everybody on the
Oh
trampoline just like looking up, like that was so much fun.
To like Ashley's or
Yeah.
Shout out Ashley Schmidt.
Right.
Yeah, and it's that process of finding those memories of when did I feel really good.
Yeah.
Let's try to cultivate that for the mind. Kind of trick your mind, hack your mind to be like, okay, I want to think about that time I felt really good, and now I'm here, and I can feel really good here too.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes. Practice and relaxation. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, guys, I hope that you guys have gotten some good nuggets from our Keep It Real session.
Yes.
We kept it super real. We went
it was
in.
so real.
We went in.
I had notes. It was real.
It was real. I just want to run over some pocket picker-uppers that people can take home with them after this episode, besides all of the fabulous tips that you've given us. What are some of your favorites that you can share with us and things to help us?
So tangible things because we start on our phones now as a generation. Tangible things, download some of the meditation apps.
Ooh, come on, apps.
Yeah, for real. Calm, Breathe, Headspace. These are all breath meditation apps. Haven is a affirmation meditation app, so it's a little bit sillier when you sit there and talk to yourself. So I often recommend if you've got a big interview, an audition, go in your car, affirmation yourself, because what you say to yourself is what you become. I'm an idiot. I'm a moron. Guess what you become?
Say that to themselves so much.
And if you can tell yourself that, you can also tell yourself, I am luminous, I'm smart, I'm capable, I am here, and I know what I'm doing.
And why we feel weird complimenting ourselves or uplifting ourselves. We have no problem tearing ourselves down.
Oh, of course.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and
it's so crazy to me.
because our society, you're supposed to be this, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do that.
And if you uplift yourself, you're not being humble. Humble yourself.
Selfish if you uplift yourself. Well, a lot of this kind of work is to become a little bit selfish so you're aware of yourself. Be self-centered first. So I'll clean that up. So selfish, nobody wants to be selfish, but be self-centered at first, because like they say in the airplanes, put your own mask on first before you put somebody else's. So you have to know and be aware of what's happening in your mind and your body before you can move out and commune with other humans, with other earthlings.
Definitely.
So calm, breathe, Headspace, Haven. My personal favorite is Insight Timer. They have guided meditations there, like thousands of them from every different type of form of meditation.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then on top of it, my favorite, because I'm an A+ student, star student, they have consistency milestones.
Ooh.
So you get little stars when you meditate more.
Okay. I need that validation.
And then and on top of it, you can customize your meditation with background music. The type of way you want to come out of your meditation. So with a gong sound or something saying, all right, gently open your eyes. It's super, super cool. But any one of those would really just find the app that gets you to meditate.
Perfect. Perfect.
Next big tip is, please, when you're on your journey, whatever it is you do to find wellness and you, take some breaks.
Oh,
Take
necessary.
some breaks. Yeah.
Necessary.
Yeah. And quality breaks, again, finding a way to relax. So if you know going out with your mom to go shopping is just going to make you angrier.
Right.
Maybe choose to take a walk on the beach
Right.
instead. Or choose to, look at some puppies by yourself. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would adopt a cat every time. If I like every time
Don't do that. Yeah,
Right,
if you're
exactly.
that type of person, then
Right. That's not.
walk
I
around
mean,
the
it's fun. It's
neighborhood.
relaxing. But then I want to save all the animals.
Exactly.
And then
exactly. So instead, find quality breaks for yourself. And if that means, walking around the neighborhood, or if that means listening to music and dancing in your room, that is a quality break. Especially for those of us in kind of the more freelance type of work.
Right.
Is that any day, any hour could be work hour.
Yeah.
So also try to build in a quality work break as well. And really the biggest tip, picker-upper I could give anyone is to remind yourself every time you get in an emotional story, or every time you're not in an emotional story, that progress is not linear.
Oh, yes. I live by that.
Yeah,
I live by that.
do too.
It's a windy path, and
and
it's
sorry, go.
I'm gonna say, like, we were talking about humbling ourselves, but it's like the most humbling thing that you can do. You don't have to be mean to yourself to humble yourself. You can just remind yourself, like, okay, I've come this far. I might need to start back at 1. And it's a humbling experience, because sometimes when we are put in situations, it's to like kind of gauge our reaction. Have we grown? Have we not? And if we react how we used to, that's okay.
Exactly.
You just got more work to do to grow to the place that you would like to go.
Yeah, exactly. My mentor, my spiritual coach, they all say, the reason this stuff is coming up is because you're ready for it.
Yeah.
You're ready to confront it.
Yeah.
So whether it's a past experience, whether it's a work experience, whether it's a relationship experience that throws you off your game, you're ready for it. And that's okay. Yeah, go back to 1. A big thing that happened to me while I was working this particular curriculum is I got super sick a couple weeks ago. And it was because I was not listening to my body.
Wait, I thought your cat gave you a sinus infection.
I thought it was just the cat too, but it was...
Which is like the cat?
Yeah, exactly. What a way for me to like hand over the responsibility for not taking care of my body and not realizing that, you were also teaching 8 classes a day. Going into like 3 different recording sessions that week where you're screaming and laughing. Wow. Of course you got a sinus infection. Like, it has nothing to do with your sweet baby little kitty. What's wrong with you?
The cat got me sick.
No, you got you sick. So, I had to humble myself in that aspect, that I have to listen to me.
Yeah.
And I had to go back to week 1 with the curriculum, and that's where I'm at right now, is what does tension look like in my body? You got to start over, and that's okay. It's not linear. It just means I'm ready to level up bigger.
Hey, level up.
Yeah, it just means we're ready to level up bigger. And when you feel like you're not leveling up, final picker-upper, have some compassion for you.
Yeah.
And the way we do that in yoga is we consider the sutra Praktipaksha Bhavanan, which means to cultivate the opposite. You feel like shit, go do something nice for someone in the same way that might make them feel better. Yeah, so a lot of times for me, it's like, I don't feel good because I'm not rich enough. Wealthy enough.
Yes, so I think a lot of us can relate to that. We think that if we have more money, I would be able to do this. I could provide. I could do that. I could do that. And
cultivate the opposite. Go help out someone in a homeless shelter.
Right, because there's people worse off than you.
Yeah, and that'll bring you
forget.
Right back to the ground to realize I have a lot.
Yeah.
And if you're in that situation where you're in a homeless shelter and you're like, I can't Praktipaksha Bhavana anybody. That's okay. It starts with us. It starts with asking. It starts, if you don't know what to make your situation better, it is the first step. How can I get help? Can someone help?
Yeah.
And that's like the biggest key is compassion for me anyway. Bye.
Boom. Well, guys, this has been another great episode. I want to thank you for tuning into this awesome season. I want to thank my cousin Myrna for all of these gems and beautiful tips. And join us next season after this long, hot summer. We'll be coming back next fall for another season of pickHERupper.